Welcome to Just Acting Up Show, ladies and gentlemen. We have a special guest in here. We have Aleeah Rogers. Let's clap it in for this queen real quick, man. Thank you. Thank you so much, Queen, for joining us for this one. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm really happy to be here. You and I go way back.
Man. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It was 2000. So for all the viewers out there, it was 2006 or 7, I think.
2006, yeah.
2006 when I met you. Yes, at our very first. I don't know if that was your very first job, but that was my very first.
It was my very first job. Yeah.
Yours? What?
Yeah, I still have pictures of us from when we would go to do you remember that Red Robin where Tinseltown used to be on?
I remember that.
The Beltway? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
That is crazy. Oh my God. AMC First Calling 24. And then it's crazy that, you look at us now. You're out there, trying breaking out and acting, doing multiple. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. I'm proud of this girl, man. It's crazy when people that you worked with, or you just share this job or these scenes or whatever with, and you see where they're at now and where you're all going and getting to. It's just so cool and exciting. I can't do nothing but smile and be happy for you. I'm so
like 15 years later, where we are. It's pretty awesome.
Oh my gosh, it's been a glory. So
it's always great seeing people's journey, man, just to see where they come from. So I'm sure that's great. What inspired you to get into acting?
I had kind of been acting since I can remember. I used to live in New York City, and like one of my first plays that I don't remember doing, but my parents have videoed me doing, was it was like a Harriet Tubman play, and I was Harriet Tubman. So like I've always seen myself on camera, I guess, because my family would put me in plays. And then just like school stuff. I lost my very first role in this like Christmas play when I was in like 4th grade. It devastated me, and I'm very competitive. And I was like, I'm not gonna lose again. And I guess that was like a little moment where I like realized how much I really wanted to do this or do acting. Once I graduated high school, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go be an engineer. Like I was really smart. My degree is in math. So I was just like, I'm just gonna let it go. Like it was fun. But then I realized I really missed it, like in class, and like not having that was like a real adjustment, like not having that creative outlet.
Right.
And I just really didn't care about the thermodynamics of whatever. And so I went back to school, and I continued the second year of school, and I just started taking some acting classes on the side, and did 2 plays at U of H. And then I started taking acting classes with Deke Anderson in Houston. And then I signed my first agency in Houston, and at 19, and it's just been doing it ever since.
Oh no, I was gonna say that's awesome. It's crazy that she said Deke Anderson, because that's pretty much the route I went. I was juggling like 2 acting classes at the same time. And then it's crazy, you find out this acting agency and this, and I was like, I think it was, and I saw your picture too on I think it was Pastorini Bosby. Yeah. And I was like, wait, and then I was like, remember you like, wait, and I was like, start putting 2 and 2 together. And I was like, oh man. And I just became so excited, and I was happy, and I saw you do these different shows and everything. And I was just like, I'm so happy for you. So
oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I see you were in Django. How was it working with Jamie Foxx?
Oh man, that was pretty cool. He's a really, really, really awesome person. My brother actually was working on Django too. He was like an extra, and so we both were there. Like I helped my brother get the job or whatever. And Jamie was one of the nicest people you could ever meet, like really down to earth. And like it's like a very massive Hollywood production, and there's just like all these politics and everything. And Jamie was just like, I'm gonna sit with y'all for lunch, like what you eating? Like he was just very, very, very cool. And was like not about like being very elitist or thinking he's better than anyone. Like he spoke to every single person, shook their hand, thanked them. And that like kind of makes you feel like welcome, you know, whenever you have like a very small part in a movie, you feel very small compared to everything else everyone is doing. So that kind of taught me like on set etiquette and how you should be and how you shouldn't be, I guess. And Kerry Washington was super sweet too. I got a chance to talk with her and I kind of was just telling her about like my career and like I was like really like that was like my very first thing. And she gave me some really good advice and told me to like keep pursuing it and like move. Well, at the time I was shooting in New Orleans, so and it was like 2010. I don't know, sometime around there. So I was really young, and so she was just like, keep pursuing it and pursue it with your heart, and like things will show up for you down the line. It was really nice advice. She was really, really, really sweet, given some of the scenes that she had to do.
Yeah.
So, she was still very kind, and I appreciate that. Tiny, she's very tiny.
Really?
Yeah, she's smaller. Like I'm 5'4". I think she's
Right.
like 5'3", so she was shorter than me, and I just expected her to be like 5'6" or 5'7", just tall, you know.
Oh, that's awesome.
Gotcha.
So, how does it feel? How did it feel that first time you seen yourself like on TV, on a network show or a movie? Like, what was that feeling like? Were you like,
I hate it. I hate it so much. I don't like, I'm super critical, and I think that I watch myself, I'm like, oh, why'd you say that like that? Like, oh, like the way
you feel the same way too. You hate seeing yourself sometimes. That's me too. I thought I was the only one that felt that way.
No. I'd be like, oh, do we have to stay for this part? Like, it's
I know, right?
Oh my God. You one of those actors where you're like, no, just let everybody else.
Like, I'll let y'all watch it, and then you know, I don't like watching myself. I think I've gotten more comfortable with it with like self tapes and things like that, because I have to watch myself like 80 times and I'm still hella critical. And sometimes I'll be like, oh, I gotta redo the whole tape, I don't like it, or you know, whatever. So I try to get better at that, because it's important for us to like be grateful and be happy with who we are. And so that type of like mindset of like not being comfortable, or like where that anxiety comes from, isn't healthy. So like I'm trying to get better at just like being comfortable watching myself. It's not easy. I don't like it, but
I think I think it was FBI sometime last year or the year before last. I can't really fully remember, but I remember you posted it. Yeah, and I was like, and I sent you a picture. I was like, now who is this girl right here on there? And it was you did really amazing. I was like, look at you. So I was like, this girl, I was like, you got it. And I just knew that you were just gonna do so good.
Thank you. Yeah, FBI was one of my favorite projects that I've ever worked on. Just because I love working with Black people and just like Black anything. And I had a Black director on that show. And so when I did the initial audition, just like a normal one, I had gone in for SVU for like a couple times in New York. And so the casting assistant and casting director had already knew me. And so it felt like they picked this one because they thought I could do it. Like the energy had really shifted in that third time that I'd gone in there. And so then when I got the call back, it was going to be with the director. Her name is Christine Swanson, and she was a Black woman, and I was just like, yes. And she asked me on my resume, she was like, I see that you trained, or you did like a casting session with Raven Drummer. And I was like, in my head, I was just like, oh yeah, I did put that on there. And she was like, yeah, she casted my very first film that I ever did. And I wasn't even going to put that casting workshop on there, because normally you don't really put your casting workshops on your resume. It's just, you can do so many, right? And it just like kind of worked out, you know, that she knew that. And she said she pulled my resume out because that was a casting director that she knew very closely. And we kind of bonded and have a conversation. And she was like, oh yeah, you killed it. And, you know, like after the fact, like, yeah, you killed the callback, and I booked the job. And she was just so welcoming and amazing on set as a director. She really like sat down and talked to me before each scene about like what she wanted me to do and like how she wanted the character to be portrayed and like what I was thinking. And like, it was a beautiful collaborative moment and something that I hadn't experienced with a director on set, specifically on set, not like, you know, any other acting stuff. And that was really nice. It made me want to like bring it, you know, like it really made me feel like, all right, we're doing this together. Like we're going to make this project together and we're going to do a good job. And yeah, I can't say anything better about her. She was absolutely amazing.
I was gonna say, so I mean, you've been on set with Jamie Foxx, you've been on set with Issa Rae. Like, what are some of the, do you have any fun stories or fun moments that's from the set that you can tell us?
Um, so when I worked on Insecure, I didn't actually work with Issa Rae. I worked with Jay Ellis. So he's actually really cool. That was my scene partner. So that was my scene. I wish I worked with Issa. But it was amazing being on the Insecure set. Like the vibes were just awesome. Those people have been working together, like the crew specifically have been working together for 5 years, 5 or 6 years. So they're very, very, very close. So that set was awesome. I'm trying to think of like a funny story. I recently finished wrapping on a show on NBC for Grand Crew. It's called Grand Crew. It's a new show. It's coming out this fall. And my scene partner was Echo Kellum. He used to be on Arrow for a few years. Black guy. Yeah. Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. And that was the most fun I have ever had on set. We had this like stunt fire extinguisher scene and like we kind of had to like improv a little bit from it, and it was just so much fun. And like it was like spraying me. It was just a really fun time. Like it was the most relaxed I've ever had because he's a goofball. And it did not feel like work. Like it just felt like we were having a good time. So like the entire set, we just had these goofy scenes, and we just had so much fun. And a lot of the cast is from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, so they're just hilarious, and just it was a lot of fun. Like that was probably one of my most fun sets for sure.
I was just gonna say, I'm sure that makes it a lot easier to get into your zone and just be on set and get into character when you have such a good energy and crew around.
Yeah, for sure. That really makes the set when everybody's like, I've been on sets where it didn't really feel welcoming, and like specifically being like Black in these spaces that are not always very welcoming for us. It can just feel very isolating. So that's why like I've been very lucky that this year all of my productions have been Black, which is Grand Crew and Insecure, and then I did a BET Plus show, Sacrifice, with Paula Patton, and it's just been really nice to just not feel so alienated. You know, like I said, having Christine Swanson on FBI was like made it awesome as well, and Wu-Tang was Black, so like I've just been very lucky to work on some Black ass stuff, you know.
Long way from that AMC Theater.
Man, me and Aleeah have stories just working that like it's starting at $5.15 an hour or 5 something or 6 something.
$5 some an hour.
Oh my gosh. And I just remember that like I'll be in the concession stand with my hat and everything, controlling this and that, doing what I can. And Aleeah's at the guest services and she's on it, and it's just like, and I'll go up there and I talk to her and she's like, I'm like, I know. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It felt like it was just yesterday. It's just so, and it's just so, like I was saying earlier, it's just so cool to see, you know, how she just, you know, took off now. And I know there are times in acting and, well, you know, when you're not getting those calls and you're not getting that call back, and then you're trying to, you know, hustle and try to scramble for something and find something. Are there any moments that, you know, you have, like, how did you get through those times, and what did you tell yourself to get to those hard times?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think in this industry alone, we have to have very, very, very thick skin, just because of the amount of rejection that we get. You know, you can do 50 auditions in 6 months and you maybe get a call back for one, and you still may not get that It's really, really hard to book things. And I think it's important to like savor and cherish each and every one of those wins. Thank God, love that moment. And anytime any of my friends book stuff, I always send them a text message like, as you're like driving, like, I hope you soak in this moment, take a deep breath, like really feel what you're feeling, like feel everything and like savor it because it's gonna be gone, you know, potentially until your next booking. How did I get through a hard time? I've been doing this for like 10 years now, and it's been like up and down. Like after I booked the originals, I thought that like, okay, like now you're on the CW, like it's gonna skyrocket off of that, but it wasn't my time yet. And I wasn't ready. I think I was 24. And I really thought that like things were gonna change until like I moved to New York City at 24. I just like stopped everything and I moved, and it was a lot. And it didn't really work out that first time. It was really hard. And I struggled. I went back home and I was like, I couldn't find an agent. I couldn't get a manager. I couldn't get anything. It was like, they would look at my resume and they would be like, oh, you booked the originals? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, how did you do that? And I was like, oh, like I have like an agent in Texas. And they're like they didn't believe me.
Yeah.
It was really hard that first time. So when I went back home, I had to like really reassess, like, is this what you want to do? And for a second, I was just like, no, I think my time is up. Like I pursued it and it didn't work out, and that's okay. And I spent 2 years, I still had my agent in Texas, Pastor Bosby, but I wasn't doing very much. I was like just kind of slowing it down. And then I had like my corporate job and I made a lot of money, and I guess everything was fine, but I wasn't happy.
Right.
And like happiness is like the biggest key, right? Like you can make all of this money, you can have this corporate job. Like I was starting to look for houses and everything, and it wasn't enough. Like it really wasn't enough. I can't stress it. Like if there's something that like you enjoy and love doing, like you just have to do it. And so I made the decision to quit again. I went back to New York because I was like, absolutely not. I told you I was competitive. I don't like losing. And so I was like, I'm gonna go back to New York and I'm gonna do this again. And things literally just aligned. I went to New York just to get some new headshots, and I was like ready to spend some like good $1,000 money on some good headshots. And he recommended me to my manager, my previous manager, and she signed me. And I was like taking the call at my corporate job in the parking garage, like on Zoom, trying to like make this thing work. And she signed me, and I left my job a month later and I moved to New York again. And
that's awesome. You know, they say, you know, if you when you work in your passion, like if you're working what you love, if you're doing what you love to do, you never work a day in your life. And so that's awesome. That's an awesome story.
yeah.
Aleeah, I love your story so much. And it tells about, you know, like you saying, you gotta have that certain competitive edge and perseverance, and to grind it out and stick it out. And we always talk to people when they're saying like, I just wasn't happy doing what I was doing, like corporate jobs or everything else. And I love it that, you know, you just stuck with it, you stayed with it, and you just kept going.
Yeah.
And people really do need to hear that. And I think, and coming, like, it does a lot for a lot of people that's in this business, trying to grind it out and get there.
Yeah, it's really hard, especially with like ageism, you know, as we get older. Like when I moved to New York City for the second time, I had just turned 28. So at that time, you know, I was like kind of feeling, you know, when you get to the end of your 20s, like, damn, like I should have this and I should have this. And like, are you really like fill up this job? You know, like, are you too old now? Now you can't play these things, like you can't do this. And it's just like, I had to like quiet all of that noise and that doubt and just be like, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
And you are not married, you don't have no kids, like, what do you want to do? And you still have the ability to pursue that. And my parents are very, very supportive of me. And I think that helps a lot. Like, they just be like, well, go do what you want to do. Like, go try again, go back to New York and make it work. And I wasn't going to fail this time. And I mean, I failed the first time, but it felt like a failure. I can get an agent to take my life.
And I mean, and that's what's so cool. Like, people need to hear this and hear that story, because it's like, you know, that process of where you started at, and then, you know, like you said, you failed, but it's the way how you accepted that failure, and you kept going. Like, you know what, I see this, but I'm not letting this be the final. You know, this is not it. This is not it. I got to keep going.
It's the grind.
And, yeah,
That's the grind. Just to see somebody just, you know, it's not overnight. People think things are overnight. No, you have to put the work in. You know, you have to put the work in, and it's gonna come if you stay persistent, you stay with it. Faith, consistency, and hard work. That's what they say, right?
But you enjoy it better that way. Me personally, the grind. Yeah. If it came easy, you wouldn't appreciate it. So
yeah, that's exactly.
So, who's your dream that you would want to work with in Hollywood? Like, you know.
So I thought about this question, and
there's
so many people. Like, if we're talking about like legends, and specifically, like I said in the beginning, like Black Hollywood, Black people, Black productions, Black shows, like that's what I want to do. And again, I have been very, very, very lucky in my career that I've had mostly female directors, and I've worked on a lot of Black shows, and they've been great. You know, I just wish people would, you know, not be so hard on our work and stuff. You know, a lot of times people be like, oh, don't do that, or oh, that, or this is wrong. Like, it's what you make it. And like, they're producing more and more and more Black content, but we need like a stepping stone to, you know, to keep showing that we're watching these things. So I just think it's really important to support ourselves. So say that. And so in like old Hollywood, there's like, you know, of course, Denzel and Angela Bassett. I'd love to work with Jada. She's just like a legend in her own right, of just so many different movies from the 90s. And probably Nia Long too. Like, I grew up on her, so I would love to work with Nia Long. And then I think about like new Black Hollywood and all of the folks that are coming out, and like Yaha and Jonathan Majors and Tessa Thompson. There's some really great actors, Michaela Cole, that are just phenomenal, that I would love, you know, to work with. So it's like two different spectrums of like people who inspire me from when I grew up, and then like the people that are absolutely murdering this industry right now that I would, you know, love to work with. And I feel like we've got some like really awesome talent. Journey Smollett too. I'd love to work with her. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's gonna happen. You already spoke it, and I know you spoke it into existence multiple times. I think it's gonna be I think you're gonna skyrocket real. I mean, if you haven't already, I know it's coming, and yeah, I know it's coming.
It's been a journey. It'll be about time.
I know Mahershala Ali was saying that it took him like 10 years as well. And that's the thing. People always saying like, oh, this person, you know, broke out at this time, and that, like, it takes time. Everybody's journey is different. You have to go through it. Well, you know the process and how it is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, everybody's journey is different. It's really it's not easy, and it's a struggle. I have a good tribe of people that were in New York City, and that are also, some of them are out here in LA. And it's like really great. We're all in the same mindset of like just pursuing our dreams and pushing it forward, and like being support systems for each other, because it's not easy in this business to keep your head above water, you know, and not get boggled down.
I agree.
So where can we all follow you?
Y'all can follow me on IG. That's probably like the most active I'm on, which is this is Aleeah. And then like I have my website as well, but I don't really post like blog posts on there as much as I should, but it's up to date with like my resume and like clips from my show and like shows that I've done or whatever. And then, like I said at the beginning of the call, I worked on 3 projects this year. So Sacrifice will be on BET Plus, but I don't know when the premiere date is. I know they finished filming in like June, so it should be sometime soon, but that'll be on BET Plus, and that was with Paula Patton, and my scenes are with Paula Patton, so it's really cool working with her. She's really pretty.
That was one of my Hollywood crushes. I'm like, man, I'm gonna start blushing. Like, don't say her name around me. I'm like, calm down,
down,
Jack. Calm down.
Understandable. She's absolutely stunning, like blinding light stunning, and sweet. And then Insecure, I'll be on episode 3 of Insecure for season 5. So probably that will be out in November. I think this season starts like October 26th. So 3 weeks after that should be like November 10th or something like that. And then, like I said, I just finished literally like a week ago, because I texted you, James, to let you know that I was like, yeah, I just finished filming. So that will be on NBC this fall. It's a half-hour comedy show. It's called Grand Crew, and it's Black. It's about 4 Black guys, 4 Black men who go to a wine bar, and they just be chopping it up about their life and like what they're going through. It's vulnerable. It's a really, really, really great show. I love the script, and I think Black people should really watch it. It's funny. It's got a Black producer. It's got Black writers. So it just feels very like to our culture. It's very cool. But that will be out sometime this fall. I'm not really sure on the episode, but I'm episode 5. So I don't know like the exact date, but episode 5 I'll be on.
Gotcha.
Awesome.
Love it, sis. Well, one more thing before you go, and we'll have you do the drop. Now, are you still an NFL fan? You still a football fan?
Yeah.
Okay, so I told Chris and Mike, I don't know if is this still your team? Are the Cowboys still your team?
Cowboys are still my team. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. How long have you had that problem?
It was all good. You was doing perfectly fine.
Steeler Nation stuff.
Yeah.
I'm a certified Cowboys hater. I'm sorry.
she's used to it now.
I am.
I think that's how I first started talking to her at AMC. I know you said that we was talking about our favorite subjects in school. I know you said you love math, if memory serves me correctly.
Yeah.
And I said English, and you were saying you like math because it's you always get one straight answer.
You remember that?
Look at that memory coming through, bro. Like, told you I got that memory.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that. And then we started talking about football, and he was like, Cowboys. I'm like, my dad is a Cowboys fan. So I was like, okay, she's cool. I was like, Aleeah is cool.
That's awesome.
I know. That's why I'm a distinguished actor. I can remember something.
That's amazing. You have a great memory, because
sometimes.
Exactly what I said.
See, sometimes it works. But
see, Cowboy fans always have good memory, because they go back from the 90s, what we did in the 90s.
Oh, man. Y'all gonna make up, man.
Y'all be all right.
Leave her team alone, man.
I've been hearing it so much, so I grew up in Houston. I just take it. It's fine.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Queen. That is it. And you are done.
Insane.
Thank you very much.
Great meeting you guys. Like, it's really great. This is a wonderful show. You guys have something really awesome. So
Thank
you. We appreciate it.
That means a lot. I'll be seeing, I don't know whenever I do break out or when we do break out, but we'll be seeing you soon. I'll see you on sets. Thank you again so much. Thank you. Many blessings to you. Be safe, and be safe out there.
You are the nicest Cowboy fan I ever met in my life. They are some rude son of a guns, boy. I tell you, they are rude.
Very aggressive, but we gotta put up with a lot with the Texans fans being so annoying and.
Yeah.
See that?
Oh, do you feel attacked?
Never.
I like how she slightly put that in there, and it was just so sweet how you did it. It's just being annoying. I like it. Oh my gosh, thank you, Aleeah.
You're welcome, guys.
All right, now take care.
Bye.